Ladies and gentlemen, I just got done watching Ironheart. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna spoil anything right now, even though I gotta talk about the ending, but first we're gonna do no spoilers. The main question, was Ironheart any good? I will say it was. I give it a solid like 8 out of 10. Maybe, 8 out of 10. It was really, really good compared to other Disney Plus shows. If you've watched most of them, it's not saying much. It's one of my more favorite ones. Dominique Thorne as Ironheart, I'm not gonna lie. After watching Black Panther, I was like, okay, she cool, but I gotta see more of her. After this show, man, I'm a fan. The show had a very comic book vibe to it, which your brother was feeling. I'm not gonna lie, I was all over that. It was a fun show. It had some funny moments. It had some actually good choreographed fight scenes, surprisingly. Nothing choreographed like Shang-Chi or anything. You know, them boys had the hands, but the fights were kind of entertaining. But if you haven't seen a show and you're into Marvel, go watch that, you feel me? And then come back and tell me what you think, because now
we're getting into spoilers, young man.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the things that I liked, and I'm gonna talk about the things that I didn't like. I have more likes and dislikes, but there was a few things that I did see that was off. First, we're gonna start with the negatives at first. You know what? No, I'm lying. We're gonna start with the positives. We're gonna always start with the positives. First things first, something that I've seen a lot of people online split on, which maybe is just the type of toxic stuff I see on Twitter. Riri's AI, Natalie. Now, in the show, Natalie was her best friend until she was tragically shot, along with her stepdad.
But I guess that's what happens when you live in Chicago, man. Hey, go Cubs.
In my humble opinion, man, I think I actually like Natalie a lot more than I like a character like Jarvis. Even though Jarvis wasn't really a character, he was an AI, obviously a helpful AI. He helped Tony Stark do a lot of stuff in battle, trying to plan stuff out for battles. At first, I was kind of funny on the whole idea of her even existing, how she was made, because she was made on accident. Riri was trying to make an AI for her suit, but I think she like fell asleep while doing it. It just happened to pick up her dream or something like that, like her thoughts, and then it created the AI of her dead best friend, which is insane. But after Natalie's around, you get to see her and Riri's dynamic. After a while, I'm like, yo, this is the best part of the show. Natalie was probably my favorite character in the whole show. She was the funniest character. She wasn't useless either. She could literally operate the suit exactly how Riri could, if not better at times. And the cool part about the AI, it has all of the memories that Riri has with Natalie. So in turn of that, she kind of is literally Natalie. And the only thing she doesn't remember is her dying. So the AI has emotions. The AI feels things. It gets sad and stuff. And it's really, really like, the characters struggle with it because this is a really, really kind of messed up thing, but it wasn't done on purpose. And Natalie's like, what, you just gonna kill me? Like, come on, don't do that, Riri. You gotta have a heart, man. And at first, Riri was really against it, but after a while, she couldn't help but to keep her around. Maybe that's a hot take, but I feel like Natalie is probably like one of the better AIs that was made. I mean, obviously Ultron, he spent 5 seconds on the internet and decided that we had to go. Maybe he's number one. Another thing that I loved about the show was Chicago, man. Now, me personally, I've never been in Chicago, so I'm not gonna say I know what Chicago feels like, but your boy watches The Bear. I love The Bear. One thing about The Bear, Chicago feels alive. Chicago is a character in the show. You get the whole vibe with how all the characters talk, the things that they like, places they went to eat, the type of stuff they like to eat. You just saw all of that in The Bear. Ironheart, you kind of got that same vibe to the music they were playing, to some of the stores that they went to, and then even how the characters acted. I'm not going to act like I know how Chicago people act, but I mean, Ironheart is kind of a black show. A lot of shows, when they try to do black characters, I'm telling you, if you're black, you understand this. Some shows just do not understand black people, and I feel like this did a really, really good job at understanding them, putting them into this world, making them feel real. Like, yo, Riri's mother is hilarious because she's literally like a black mom, down to like her being introduced in the show when she has family over or like friends over, and they just all butt into Riri's life like they know her like that. I will say the one thing that was very unrealistic about her mother, I don't know how she didn't go off on her sooner, because Riri be wild. Yo, Riri just be leaving. She be up and leaving. They'll be coming until 3 a.m. She's like, oh, I was at my internship, my new job. You're lying, buddy. What's going on? Watching it, I just kind of saw a lot of similarities that it had to The Bear. Also, another thing that I can't forget to talk about, Riri just as a character. Now, Riri is not a bad person, depending on who you ask. Riri is a very, like, she's a morally gray person. Now, if you know what gray means when it comes to like characters and video games, TV shows, stuff like that, morally gray is they're not overly good, but they're not bad per se. She's she's an opportunist. The whole show is kind of like a heist show. For most of it, Riri is a literal criminal. She's a criminal helping people do these heists because she gets to get more bread for building her suit. Now, this is one thing that I don't like about the show, because she's always saying how she wants to make something iconic, and she's not able to do that at MIT, which is where she starts the show at. And then her professors and her counselors are like, dude, we're trying to set you up to be in positions to do things. Just do your work, basically. And she's like, nah, I gotta be iconic. Like, bro, stay in school. And I'm the last person to be saying this because I dropped out, but bro, what you doing? It just made no sense, because you just instead decided to turn to a life of crime because it was convenient. Maybe she's like me, she hates school. I wouldn't become a criminal because of that, but hey. But I also do really love this about Riri's character because she's not ever gonna do what you expect her to do. Her whole mission in the whole entire show is really just to get resources to build the things that she wants to build and to make the things she wants to make. But she obviously went down the wrong path and became a criminal, but she has to deal with the consequences of that, and that's kind of the whole entire show. Riri's character does something that Iron Man used to do a lot, and that's running from her problems and trauma. I feel like the main thing with her is things that she doesn't understand scares her. In the show, we see her have, I think, 2 or 3 anxiety attacks, and I'm pretty sure all of them were caused from her not knowing how to do something or not being able to understand something, which terrifies her. For example, the hood, when she was trying to figure out how to destroy the hood, she literally had a panic attack because she couldn't handle it. She was like, I can't do this. Even her emotions, anytime she was forced to take her emotions head on, she refused to partake in a conversation, anything like that. She avoided it at all costs till like later in the show. Which is also a reason that she's so distant to her mother, because she really hasn't talked to her much about the whole situation that happened to her stepdad and her sister. I feel like her more defining traits are selfish and ambitious, which is very different from what we've seen in Marvel in general when it comes to the shows and the movies that they put out, and I feel like it was very fresh. Now, before anybody tries to slit my throat for saying that she's selfish, obviously she cares about people, she's gonna try to save people, but when it comes to her goals and what she's trying to do, she's putting that above all else. Like, you saw what happened to that boy Zeke, bro. Even though she tried to do right by him towards the end and stuff, but I don't know. You see what I'm saying? Another thing was the CGI. You can definitely tell they put a pretty penny on some of the scenes in this show. I saw a lot of people clowning it online. I will say, there's some shots where you're like, wow, that looks really good. And there's some shots where you're like, that looks a little Spy Kids-ish. I'm not gonna lie. But most of it was solid. It was good, especially for a Disney Plus show. Bro, iron suits, oh my gosh, they're so beautiful, especially when they're done right. There was no nanotech. I'm so tired of nanotech. And yo, I'm sure y'all have seen the GIFs and stuff that people have posted on Twitter and all that of Riri just hopping out of the suit. Like, every time it opens, she can just come right out, or just go into it like she did when she flicked off one of the people that she used to work with when they were trying to attack her. And like I said earlier, this has a very comic book feel to it, man. Every episode had Ironheart title card, and they would have like very creative ways of putting them into the show. Like the first episode, she ended up like crashing and basically almost dying in her suit, which was kind of crazy that she walked away from that fine. And half of her suit basically came off when she hit the ground, and the marks that she left in the pavement along with her suit were all spelled out Ironheart, with her at the bottom like sitting on the road. And then there was another one towards the end of the show where like a character died, the main villain of the show, his cousin died, and I'm pretty sure he put up a picture of his cousin, and next to it was another photo that said Ironheart. Like next, it's just creative stuff like that. And there was also a scene where she was about to crash again. You can see she's clearly not good at this Iron Man, that she crashes multiple times. Let me chill on a homegirl. But she like landed on a sign for a restaurant, and don't you know how the signs usually have those letters that are put in them? Most of the letters fell out, and when she landed on the sign, which broke half of it, the only letters that were left on the sign spelled out ouch, because obviously she was struggling, she was in pain. But it was cool. It was cool. That's a very comic book thing to do. Also, when I say a comic book vibe, like the dude Ezekiel Stane, a crazy throwback. He's actually the son of the villain from the first Iron Man movie, I think. The guy that said
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scrap.
Yeah, so that was a cool callback. And then you know, he has all these like military grade weapons, like global threat weapons, and he ends up becoming like a bionic soldier, like it's Lab Rats or something, or like Cyberpunk. Like it was just really random. I'm not sure if that happened in the comics. I'm not sure if he got powers like that. Y'all can let me know in the comments if y'all are aware of that, because this is my first time hearing of Ezekiel Stane. I searched him after hearing like, oh, he's that dude's son. I thought that was cool. I also felt like Riri, when she got jumped towards the end of the show, is that dead skin on my nose? That looks like a booger. I promise it's not. But when the people she used to run with jumped her, yeah, she got jumped like 2018 Spider-Man did at the raft. Do y'all remember that scene when he was literally crawling away from the people? I mean, technically she won that fight, but yo, she was getting cooked. I'm not gonna lie. And that whole scene also reminded me of Iron Man 3, and that scene where he got caught up with one of the main bad guys in that movie, the one that was chasing him around. And I'm pretty sure he didn't have a suit at the time, so he just had to use his smarts to get away from him. And it was like this other super enhanced super soldier that was going out for him, and he just had to use his smarts to beat him, and he did. And it was also set in the kitchen, which was the exact same thing that Riri was in, which I thought was kind of cool. And real quick before I forget this, there was a bar that was set in the show that had me like, I was like, preach, yo. Natalie said something to Riri, I think. I'm pretty sure it was Natalie that said it. She said, when trying to forget the memories that made you sad, you wind up forgetting the memories that made you happy. And I'm pretty sure she replayed her a bunch of memories that she had when she was a child of her just enjoying the time she spent with her stepdad and her sister. That was beautiful. And I feel like I can relate to that. A bunch of other people can probably relate to it. I thought that was a bar. You should probably reflect on your life as well. Also, on the topic of her stepdad at one point gifted her a vehicle for whenever she got old enough to drive it. And he was saying, this is going to protect you. You're going to be able to drive this wherever you go, yada, yada, yada. It was pretty solid vehicle, red and black, whatever. I thought it was kind of poetic that the whole show she's complaining about she really makes suits because she feels like she needs to protect her family, even though she told everybody else in the show that she makes suits just because she can. That's not the point. That's just the front. The real reason is because she needs to protect her people because she wasn't able to in the past. But her making the suit that will protect her people ultimately in the place where she couldn't protect her stepdad and her sister with the gift that he gifted her to protect her. I thought that was beautiful. I feel like that was some good writing right there. That was pretty solid. It was a good 180. Let's also talk about the villain in the show, the Hood, the real Usnavi, man. Hey, if you know Ball, you know Ball. You know who Usnavi is. But from the trailers and stuff, I really felt like he looked a little corny. I'm not even trying to be disrespectful. I just feel like the cape looked very weird. Not the cape, the hood. I feel like it should have had a more Doctor Strange feel to it. It should have always been moving, maybe something like that, just something creative. But it was literally just a hood. That was it. It was just a cape on him. It never moved. All it did was turn invisible. With, I'm not gonna lie, he's kind of cold with the hood. But after watching the show, I can say the villain, I'll say the acting was really good. I really enjoyed his acting every time he was on screen for the most part. But I do feel like the character was very, the motives were weird. It seemed like he was seeking a family, which was probably what he was seeking the whole entire time because his father gave him away when he was 12. His cousin took him into the crime life, yada yada yada. But I feel like he's craved a family the most. I don't think he said that out loud in the whole show though, but you kind of get that vibe towards the end. And he's robbing all these people, yada yada yada, trying to get money, trying to provide for his new family. But then in the end, I feel like it was just a plan to ultimately get vengeance on his father that got rid of him. And I just wasn't seeing that coming at all. And I was kind of watching and I was like, this isn't what I was seeing for your character. But I mean, it's all right, whatever. Maybe that's just me. I wasn't really feeling that. But him as a character, I feel like he did a very good job. He made a deal with the devil though. You can't be doing that, son. I low-key really felt bad for him by the end of the show came around too, because he wasn't killed or anything. As you know, if you've watched the show already, Riri unintentionally killed his cousin because his cousin was trying to kill her for trying to take some of the hood to experiment on, if that makes sense. I'm not very good at explaining things, if you haven't been able to tell. But it looked like Riri killed him, so he tried to kill Riri. Riri ends up just taking the hood from him, so he's not a threat anymore. And he's still alive, but he has nothing now. He lost everything. He lost the power that he got from his deal that he literally made with the devil, Mephisto, which we're about to get to Mephisto in a second. But he lost his cape. Hood, same thing. He lost his cousin. He lost the family he created, so he really had nothing. I felt bad for the brother, I ain't gonna lie. Mephisto mentioned in their little exchange that they had when he made a deal with him that you're gonna lose something, in his words, which he probably says this to every client.
The deal's for something you won't even miss.
Which in this specific instance was a family, which he clearly wanted throughout the show, but he never said out loud. But he told Mephisto that I want riches, I want to be filthy rich, I want to be nasty, I want to be dripping from my legs rich, like, pause. But yeah, not gonna lie, overall thoughts for the positives, the show was very, I really liked it. The premise was kind of technology versus magic, and I really liked that. I don't know how I feel about her suit being infused with magic. It was cool, but I hope that just doesn't become her thing, if you see what I'm saying. Now, to the negatives, which are not really that many, but I gotta mention them. Number one, the first negative that I had for the whole entire show going into it was this specific editing error. If you saw it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It was in the episode where Riri's trying to, I think, repair her suit, her first suit. And it's in the same instance where she's about to make Natalie unintentionally. There was a montage that happened with her creating the suit and, working on it. But it was all happening within the same night. But there were multiple transition changes where she had a completely different hairstyle and a completely different outfit on. And I was watching with my dad and my sister. I was like, did y'all notice that? It was like, what? And I was like, this is supposed to all be happening the same night, right? It was like, yeah. It's like, then why did she just go through 3 different outfit changes? And we rewinded it. I think it was definitely within the first 3 episodes. I remember that. We noticed it and we were like, yeah, that was weird. It was really weird. I'm going to say that's maybe because of reshoots, but very pointless scenes to include too. You didn't have to include those scenes. They weren't crucial. So you just fucked it up for nothing. Another thing, the side characters, at least when it comes to the crime side of things, didn't really care about them that much. Stuff happened to him. The cousin, I feel like maybe you care for him more because he's close to the villain. He kind of took him in and stuff. I didn't really care that he died though. I don't know if anybody else did. I just more cared that Riri did it on accident and now it's gonna look crazy on her end. Just didn't really care for the side characters. Even when it comes down to the family, I feel like the main people that I really cared about was just the love interest, which was Natalie's brother and kind of the mom. Just because the mom was kind of funny, and then you could clearly see that the dude was close to Riri, and that's really it. There was also this kid though that Riri used his cart and paid him, like in the first episode. And then he randomly shows up again towards the end to get his cart back, and he's just there, and you know, he gets a few scenes and stuff. And I was kind of like, hey, haven't seen this kid since like episode 1. Why the hell are you here? But hey, I guess I'm a hater. Let me just shut up. I feel like I just didn't care about the side characters that much, but that's just me. Also, the main thing that I feel like I'm kind of split on with this show is the inclusion of Mephisto. I did not expect Mephisto to be introduced here of all places. If you've been watching Marvel, you've been keeping up with Marvel, you've seen there's been 1,000 predictions for other movies before they came out, other shows, if people thought Mephisto was going to be included or not. Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, freaking Spider-Man No Way Home, WandaVision at one point. I feel like this would have been people's last guess that Mephisto was included, you know what I'm saying? He's also very hinted towards in the early episodes when you saw Parker kind of losing his mind, like talking to himself, but you don't really get Mephisto's presence until the very end of the show, really. It's really, really weird. Also, the ending was kind of like, Riri Williams made a deal with the devil. Now, before I get any further into this, the guy that was playing Mephisto, he was perfect. I loved, and when he was on screen, he was still in the show, I'm not gonna lie. He was very, very convincing, finding very vulnerable people to take advantage of, to get, I guess, more agents of Mephisto. I just don't like that he was very, very like, he felt like an afterthought because he was kind of hinted towards in the beginning, and then like that third episode, I think you really get to feel that he exists because he shows Parker that Riri was responsible for his cousin's death, but he kind of just shows up, and then he's like a crucial part towards the end, and I just wasn't expecting that at all. I don't know if I like it ending with her getting her way, but only through a deal with the devil. I mean, yeah, she got the hood, she isn't in danger anymore, but then to make a deal with the devil to get your homegirl back, I didn't like that at all. And then now somebody's just come back from the dead. I'm not feeling that. Also, the last thing I want to mention, this ain't even a negative for real, I just want to talk about it. Ezekiel Stan basically becomes Cole McGrath. That's literally it. I love Infamous. I've always loved the Infamous games, and he's literally Cole McGrath towards the end of the show. Like, he has the lightning powers, all that. He does a little, you know, to electrify people. But yeah, overall, my thoughts on the show, it was a solid show. It was very, very entertaining. I feel like anybody that's considering watching it, you should watch it. I hate that the show was done so dirty with only getting 2 weeks to release the whole entire show. And then, if y'all don't know, the show finished filming 3 years ago, and it's just now coming out because Ryan Coogler had Sinners come out. That's my interpretation of it, because all his success, and I don't know if you've noticed in every trailer, it says produced by Ryan Coogler.
Y'all sucking hard.
But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Y'all let me know down in the comments what y'all think about Ironheart if you have seen it. I feel like it was a solid watch. Y'all should give it a chance. Hey man, enjoy movies, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.